I think all the parents watching tonight, this is your biggest nightmare. Look, I got a 17-year-old, and he witnessed a shooting at a community center playing volleyball. Those things don't leave you. As a member of Congress, I sat in my office surrounded by dozens of the Sandy Hook parents, and they were looking at my 7-year-old picture on the wall. Their 7-year-old were dead, and they were asking us to do something. And look, I'm a hunter. I own firearms. The vice president is. We understand that the Second Amendment is there, but our first responsibility is to our kids to figure this out.
Senator?
Tim, first of all, I didn't know that your 17-year-old witnessed a shooting, and I'm sorry about that, and I hope that he's doing okay.
So.
Christ have mercy. It is awful.
Annalise, what were the big takeaways from the debate as you saw it? It seemed like a civil affair largely.
More of the traditional debate format that we've seen in previous debates, especially since they've had to start muting so that the candidates could talk and not talk over each other. This time we saw a bit of back and forth between the two. But really, J.D. Vance was quite a polished performer, and he did seem to get under Walz's skin on a number of occasions. And there were a few missteps from Walz. Of course, we're with a bunch of Republicans, so they're wanting to see J.D. Vance do well, but he gave them a lot to be happy about. So we're going to ask a few of them now ourselves. This is Chris. Chris, what did you think of how it all went?
I thought he did phenomenal. It was very direct, straight to the point, had a lot of great points on different topics. And I think even the moderators tried to throw him off a few times. Tim Walz tried to throw him off. Didn't work. He seemed very presidential in 4 years.
What was the topic you thought he really got Walz on the best?
It's hard to pick because he nailed all of them. I think energy was a big one, talking about how we don't have enough nuclear energy in this country. That's something that, to me, I think is important because eventually, fossil fuels will go away someday, and we need a plan after that. And I think that was a pretty smart thing to bring up because I think nuclear energy is something that's very underutilized in this country. So also just in terms of the border, and then even talking about democracy and how Tim Walz and Kamala Harris are more of a threat to democracy through censorship and trying to limit people's free speech by saying hate speech. Well, what is hate speech? How do you define it? There's a lot of different variables involved in that. So I think overall he did a phenomenal job.
I thought that was a really interesting new line that he had on abortion, where he was saying we need to earn trust back. We haven't heard that characterization from them before. How do you think that's going to play out? Do people your age talk about it with you, that kind of topic?
Well, a lot of people might talk about abortion. Unfortunately, a lot of people seem to make their vote based on that, which to me, I get it. It's an important topic, but in the day, there's a lot more important topics to talk about. But I think that was a good point. And sure, the Republican Party probably has lost some women's votes because of that, but I like the point he made about earning back their trust because at the end of the day, I do agree with the idea that the people decide. It's not a federal one thing fits all type thing. So that's I agree with him on that.
I know that was a tough question for me to throw at you unprepared,
No,
so
it's okay.
Thank you, Chris. I appreciate it. So, Kieran, this is why we come to these events, because it gives you the best sense of what people are talking about out on the campaign trail. These are the young people that are out doing a lot of the volunteer work, talking to voters. And so this is why we want to know what they're reacting to, what they think is going to be a good thing that they can bring up when they're out talking to voters to say, did you see that? It's a really persuasive point. So what we heard from everyone here was they thought J.D. Vance did very well, and they especially thought he was quite good at getting under Walz's skin, that he did have a few of those misspeaks, including saying that he was friends with school shooters. It seems like that wasn't what he meant to say.
Indeed, Annalise, there were a few, and he conceded to be a knucklehead as well at times.